I think the ability for BLG to press R with that item, with Yunara, with Kennen, with Nico, it's a shotgun composition they're going to run. And try and use Xin plus Ryze to be a strong mid-jungle duo to patch it up, make sure they can find the angles with hopefully the lane priority they're able to get from their draft.
And again, kind of the story of how these bot lanes have interacted, at least, you know, during the playoffs. A lot of lane dominance here for Gala and Vampire. It allows here for Junja to go for an invade onto the blue buff of Shun. Both flashes being utilized by him and Vampire, and Shun just has no place to go. That is first blood here for JDG. What a way for them to kick off this game.
Not even just Crazy and Blabber's game, just everyone.
Yeah. The Blabbers Crabbers really making their way across the globe. Thankfully, not going to matter too much for either of those sides. It's just going to be teams splitting the sides of the map. BLG, of course, with that top push, going to be able to have Shun come in there, take away some of Junja's jungle, and get back into the game at least for the Grubs.
Yeah, speaking of harassment, that's continuing bot lane as Gala and Vampire have kept the lead they had over Viper and On early on. That said, the Junja, what he was able to do in the Shun early, some of the early looks, Shun kind of caught back up on this clear, but it was at the cost of both neutral objectives going over to the side of JDG. So while the Dragon was being taken, you know, he got a couple camps away from the Jarvan, caught back up a little bit while the Grubs were being taken. He secured that bot side that I was kind of curious to see if Jarvan would continue to pressure or not. But the 3 Grubs being on JDG's side will mean that Bin and Knight can't punish the side lane wins as hard. That being said, Shun looking to punish up top.
Dominus already popped, but it might be just a little bit too few health ticks. Jun goes in with that Crescent Guard. 2 ultimates for a kill onto the enemy top laner. BLG now on the board. Bin show off the strength of this champion specifically. He's had a lot of good experiences on it. Now have a bit of a fight in the mid lane. Junja going to EQ up, Shin going to follow. We have the Dragon about to spawn, and that's why these teams looking a little bit more eager to go for a fight. On flashes forward, lanes that 2-man Pop Blossom, and Hongq is taken down. Junja will respond with a kill onto On, then uses the Cataclysm and his flash to escape, but in comes the Realm Warp, and BLG are now sending 3 back onto the J4. Shun lands the final blow, and overall, it is a 2-for-1 with Dragon now in the hands of BLG.
Yeah, I do think that look on Hongq, it got both summoner spells out of him, but the fact that didn't connect, that kind of gave away where BLG was at, and we are still in the world where Gala and Vampire, before that last play went down,
has the ulti at its disposal, but Xiaoshu all of a sudden has a lot of HP. There's a Slicing Maelstrom. Bin suddenly does not win the duel. Meanwhile, in the top side, Junja finds On in a Cataclysm, and it'll even up the kill score at 3 for JDG. And they could be looking for more with Knight and Shun running to underneath their tier 1 turret on the top side. It's going to be JDG in a 3v2 at the moment, starting up the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I'd love to see how JDG found On in the top side. Bin, Knight, getting push and finding angles. If the Karma Ezreal kind of get too ahead or too strong, Renekton being down on resources is going to have not nearly as much of an impact as Yunara not having the same resources as this game continues. So I feel like the gold allocation so far better for JDG as mid lane ult's traded. Hongq gets out. Maybe the BLG easy run's going to hurt them going into the day here, Grapes.
Yeah,
or maybe it could help them.
Easier words for me here.
Could be.
Get the Dragon started
You
up
have a Dragon.
By Bilibili. Hongq throws at the Weaver's Wall. It actually separates On and Shun from the rest of the team, so giving a little bit of time for JDG to strike. In goes Junja, and he steals the Dragon away. That's sole point in for JDG. Flashes On out and will survive. But the Pop Blossom for On is able to find 2, and Gala is shut down. Xiaoshu is next. And so it'll be 2 kills for BLG, but JD Gaming get themselves their 3rd Drake.
I thought was pretty good for JDG. The Weaver's Wall into that True Shot barrage from Gala actually gave them a health bar advantage, but the flash from On did create a good engage for BLG to follow up on, and Gala, a little bit too far forward in that fight, was found.
Ooh, Hongq, a greedy reset might be punished here. Knight gonna be able to flash forward and land that overload. And now that's 3 straight kills here for Bilibili. And such a great team fighter as well, if he can get there. Not his brightest moment necessarily. On pops the Pop Blossom preemptively, and now Hongq says, all right, man, I'll go in knowing you don't have that ability. It's going to be an easy kill here for JDG's mid laner. On has been having such a good game until he made a crucial error at potentially a devastating time. Have a conversation. On's played some Heimerdinger in his past. Maybe we see that. in this series as well. If this really goes off the rails, I feel like we have to get to like Game 7 of Fearless for that to happen at this in the current meta state. Honku in some trouble, gets stunned up by the Pop Blossom, and yeah, this Talia is just dead. Knight's going to be able to land the final blow, and JDG tried to defend him, but it's going to be disaster. Bin goes in with a slicing Maelstrom, and 2 more die for free. A teleport from Xiaoshu is all too late, as BLG in a 5v2 are going to have an easy time securing the Baron after what an incredibly foolish play by JDG.
Yeah, I kind of need to go back and see exactly how that was found by BLG. Honku being found in the river, I can understand. They're trying to shift power into bot, but Gawa being found like that as well. Bin had such a crazy angle where he didn't even need to burn the flash on this play.
JDG can right their wrongs with one good team fight, maybe even just one good press of the smite key by Junja to secure themselves the first soul of this best of 5. Bin uses the Hex Gate. It's going to be able to cut Honku off, who is suddenly very behind here in this game.
Honku not
Looks
spotted.
like they're going to spot Bin out right now. Seismic Shove does not connect, but here comes the Realm Warp, and On able to barely dodge away from that ability. In goes Junja, but it's a little bit too late, and the Weaver's Wall is going to cut him off. Junja now has to flash away, and that's going to be free Dragon, and maybe even more here for BLG. That is the first kill given over to Bin. He flashes back into the pit for safety. One more Seismic Shove will mean a shutdown gets picked up onto Shun, but BLG are happy to deny the soul.
You got the soul, also kind of win the fight. I think that mid outer is going to go down in favor of JDG. That said, Bin just used the Baron empowered recall.
On. Doesn't use the flash, and now could be in some trouble. Honku is still able to drop.
Again, finding Honku. Honku's been found on more than one occasion now in this mid game. That's his 4th death. It feels like he's been picked out inside.
They're going Baron, yeah.
I mean, if you're JDG, do you just trade this? Just trade. Yeah. Again, for BLG, I feel like this is almost an unnecessary risk from them.
I mean, there's no way they get to this in time. It's just going to burn down 5 members of JDG here for the Hextech Dragon. Weaver's Wall going to cut off Shun's advancements as well. So the soul is secured, but BLG want to try to fight in the meantime. They go for the Wind Becomes Lightning onto Xiaoshu, slowed down by the bolas of Viper as well. Xiaoshu going to be able to pop the Dominus, but is going to get sniped down by the Transcendent Laser. And Viper gets on the board first for Bilibili. It's a 45 on the map with Baron buff in their hands, and they're going to try to use this to push the gold lead as much as possible for the cost of the soul.
Yeah. How much can BLG get in the next couple of minutes with the Baron on their backs? And is it going to be worth Hextech? So my default blanket statement is no. I do not like the trade that BLG just made. I think Hextech sold the ability for Ezreal Karma to apply this is way too easy. We're sitting up here like the one mistake you can't make right now is BLG is giving away this soul. It gives JDG the exact path back into the game that they want, that they're hoping for. And so far, I think the two...
Hold on, Shun.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
He's very, very low. Cataclysm is going to come out. Shun already used his flash, and he's going to go down. So another over-aggressive play for BLG in the enemy jungle.
Seconds before the Hextech soul. And to try and play around that. And the way to play around that was like, okay, guys, it's 20 seconds gap. We can definitely do both, right? They weren't even close.
Not even close. Even if they started up on spawn at the perfect timing.
It's tough. It's so hard for BLG to walk in, and the tools that they have to flank are gone. JDG got the waves in control, took away Bin slicing Maelstrom, which is still not off cooldown, and On's flashless.
And now the Elder Dragon has been started up. Shun is already very low, and Bin has that ultimate about to come on to cooldown. He uses the Hex Gate to get over, and this would be a big fight to use that slicing Maelstrom. When will it arrive? Crescent Guard comes out. The Elder is flipped and secured by JDG. Already the Elder has procced, and the Guardian Angel is about to be expired onto Shun. He will go down, and JD Gaming win another flip, and they will claim the Elder for themselves.
What BLG has faced so far in their lower bracket run. And this first test, they've not passed at all. They failed it because they got the basic rules of League Macro wrong, which is Baron for Hextech. JDG took the time. They took 2 minutes straight to make sure that mid and bot wave were in their favor, that the control wards were in the right place, where they were to make sure that the Rat and the Nico couldn't find themselves. We find the angle or get themselves behind JDG, get the setup that BLG needs to come back and win this game. As JDG... It wasn't the prettiest game, but they stuck to the basic rules of League, and that says if you get Hextech Soul, your team's going to have a pretty big advantage throughout the game.
BLG have a 5,000 gold lead, but that's feeling like Monopoly money at this point. JD Gaming with the double buff power of the Elder and the Baron for the next minute and change. And you can see the pressure that they're able to give on to Bilibili.
Oh,
now
Bin's
they're
not
in
spotted.
the enemy base, and Bin has a flank angle underneath this mid lane inhibitor turret that has already gone down. The Nexus Tower is under fire. The first one is going to fall first. Second inhibitor down. Bin has to go now or the game will just end, and he is with the slicing maelstrom. They'll be able to nearly take down Hongqiu, but he flashes away and will not fall. JDG were down gold, but they were not down in spirit. They get a triple kill for Gala and claim game 1 of this best of 5.
Ability to turn off the whites and hunt with Ambessa Galio, very real. Kaisa can follow up on that too. Create a lot of chaos that BLG, I think, might have issue dealing with. Aurora and Rumble both have ways to play out of the side lane. Between
Shin thinking about, but it looks like he's thinking more about a play onto Hongqiu in the mid lane. This Galio has no flash. He is way too far forward in the mid lane. They're going to give first blood over to Knight. BLG on the board first. He's in really good position heat-wise as well. Would be able to almost take down Xiaoxu single-handedly if things go well. There goes both ultimates, Public Decision and the Paranoia. Fear still lands onto Bin despite the flash. The Equalizer is going to come out. Bin not going to be in a great position here. He's at 300 HP, pops the Scrap Shield, and will be able to survive. And to think that maybe they could have used that for a Dragon instead is a little bit of a question mark here for JD Gaming. They are finally able to claim 2 grubs, but Shun will make sure it is not a clean sweep by dashing in and claiming the 3rd. Still a pretty even game state at this point, but you gotta mention BLG controlling neutral objectives at this point, and that is going to be a big win for their competition. As we see Viper valking forward onto an exhausted Gala as well. Rocket nearly taking him down, but they do not have enough juice just yet.
The Wukong Cyclone into the Equalizer and set things up.
Well, return to the top lane. Another Public Execution lands here onto Bin. As you mentioned, there's no flash, so a little bit less of a chance for the Rumble this time around. JDG finally get what they were looking for underneath his tower, so it will be a delayed answer, if any, for Jindong Gaming, and it looks like they instead will opt to give this one away. So a 2-dragon lead opened up for Bilibili Gaming. We'll see what soul it is, because that could have significant ramifications on how the rest of this game will go. It's an ocean, so maybe able to survive a little bit more of that burst. Maybe. There's another wave shoved underneath his turret. Xiaoxu trying to allow for this tower to go down. Gonna get some help from Junja again. Bin flashes this time, but won't be able to get away from that Public Execution. Junja on the board again. That's first tower over to JD Gaming. A teleport is going to come in from Knight to cut Junja off. Will be a casualty of the enemy jungler, and we'll see what that means in terms of ramifications for Herald.
Ooh. Knight able to pick that one up for himself, too. That's nice. They'd rather have the gold on the Aurora than the Wukong. But it is gold now in the pockets of the Galio, and he does have the tools to try and answer.
It's a 3v4, but remember that they always have a Galio in their back pocket. They opt instead just to pick up plates, because that's effectively all that a Herald is. And so Shin's going to be able to grab that one for themselves. BLG still doing a good job controlling these neutrals.
Now, hey there, Grapes. Don't disrespect the combat power of the Shelly. It's worth a little bit more than
that's my new
points
favorite
these
part
days.
of this game.
It has been. That said, I think JDG making the right call, again, to make sure that Hongqiu picks up his tower for himself. So Junjo just answering the flash of Bin, takes him down, did put him on the wrong side.
Deja vu, we're right back up here, but this time it's not Bin being focused down. It's Knight and Shun who had that Paranoia used against them. Ultimates traded by the junglers. I'll see the Between Worlds currently on cooldown. And the flash. Knight burned flash in that play, too, from the looks of things. So Shun able to at least hover, be up there to prevent the kill, but still spell advantage secured by JDG in that skirmish. Oh, no flash. That's a sign for Xiaoxu to now go in. Knight was invisible for a little bit, but will have to eventually show himself and go down to Xiaoxu, as the top side has been all JDG here in Game 2.
And again, the identity for JDG, like I see at Nocturne and Bessa Galio, we talked about attacking the side laners. That really has been the forte for JDG so far in this game. With the lead that he was given, something that Bin was not able to do very well in game number 1. Hongqiu was spotted on the way in. I'm not sure if he knows or not. It looks like he does. But BLG kind of stuck here. About to break out in the Herald. Goes on. They immediately knock up Vampire and they take him down. In goes the Paranoia here, but it's Junja on a one-way trip and he wins yet another Smite fight. He is non-stop on fire with these 50-50s. Dragon stacking stopped. It's going to be 2 kills at least going over to BLG. They're ripping towards the Baron. They had Shelly mid. I thought they would have sieged this turret to take some plates, but no. 5v3, every tool up for BLG outside the Cyclone. Baron is being hit.
Killer Instinct still available, is the public execution as well. HonkQ almost has that hero's entrance up, but this Baron is melting to all 5 members of BLG. JDG still want to fight.
Whoa.
In goes Xiaoshu, finds the public execution on the Viper, but he's now in a 1v3 in the back of the pit. Hero's entrance comes out. HonkQ's able to knock up 3, but will the damage be enough? Baron secured by Bilibili, but the health bars are ticking, and Gala's in the back line. Killer Instinct finds a double kill, and he's still weaving his way around. Knight able to eventually take him down with the weirding, but JDG saving the play, able to get 3 kills at the price of the Baron.
2 Barons out on the solo lanes of BLG. The gold is even. The dragon stacking was denied. Nearly got Bin and sidesteps his way the best he can around Knight, really outside the E, which kind of used all of his tools to juke what he saw already. So I think Gala deserves some flowers for how he played out that fight, down numbers, nearly taking 3 with him. As 2 members get out with the Baron, you can see the siege starts for BLG as that top outer turret will fall for Bin.
So the Baron buff still in the hands of 2 members of Bilibili Gaming, but definitely not as much as they would have liked.
Is a wee bit lacking in damage. That said, Kaisa can really make up for it, and Gala's not. Oh, hold on.
Oh, in goes Xiaoshu, right into the middle of 4, but it's a beautiful delivery system for HonkQ, and Viper is taken down. 1-0 in favor of JDG, and the Paranoia has gone in on tonight. He goes between worlds to try to escape the likes of Junja, and Vampires also died. HonkQ ticking low, has to use the Justice Punch to get away, and Knight is still alive, hunting with those Qs, unable to find anything else, just a 1-for-1, but 80 carry for support benefits JDG. Get in here. Junja's won these smite fights before. Will it happen yet another time? Control ward here in the bottom side. JDG having to poke and prod their way into the pit. Dragon already at 1,000. In he goes again! This is ridiculous at this point. Junja's the smite god, but will they win the fight? Taunt is going to connect onto a lot of members, but Knight's still going to go between worlds. It's a double kill for Viper, looking for a 3rd, and they get the Dragon, but JDG are going to lose this fight handily. 4 kills in the favor of Bilibili.
Gala couldn't play the fight. The tools of BLG are keeping Gala and the rest of JDG out to the best of their abilities. Again, gonna need another look at that one, because I was kind of focused on Junja going in. He's landed all the smites, but they haven't been able to find the winning combos, and they go in on Viper again this time around, but Viper was able to kite to his team and get out. Junja, but I like the approach he's had of the game. I also, I mean, he's hit all the smites. He stole away the Elder, he's stolen away 2 dragons in this one, and
another public execution.
Whoa!
Xiaoshu going to pull the trigger. It is on to Knight, but the Paranoia is going to come forward as well. Between world only onto 1, but it takes the enemy jungler down. 1-0, soon to be 2, as Xiaoshu goes down. JDG went too far forward, and BLG this time are there to punish.
Again, I just don't think that Gala can interact with these fights, and everything being sent on the Knight. Yes, the Between Worlds, it's to get Knight out and to only hit the Nocturne, but if your 80 carry can't play in a game where we did set up that the damage is a little bit lacking from JDG, pretty much Kaisa has to make up for the lack of damage in other roles. Still a bit different. I can understand picking up more health against the comp that BLG is playing into, but double black cleaver, I don't know if that's super efficient. Also GA an option. Gala not being able to get into the last fight.
JDG playing split map a little bit here. Xiaoshu's going to take this tier 2. Now looking for Knight as well, but Shun has joined at just the right moment. Public execution alongside the Paranoia, nearly able to take Knight down. Junja still following up with the fear, gets a big shutdown, but will cost him his life. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of BLG, but maybe more. HonkQ uses the Justice Punch directly over the Equalizer and then says, nah, screw this, I'm an ulti out instead. Gets onto Vampire and will be allowed to escape. Finally in the hands of Shun, unless he somehow screws up this smite, but I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, no Junja to smite this one away as he went down. Really good predict from Xiaoshu. To find Knight.
1 HP. You say them back to back. Exactly what's happening here. It's been a multifaceted win so far for BLG. Shun able to control these fights, this time getting to Soul Point as well. Baron buff no longer available for them, but they still have a big wave on the top side. A big rocket lands onto Gala, and he's forced to pop that barrier and already be at a significantly reduced HP pool. Junja and Shun fighting it out right now. Both their Kongers already been procced, but the poke damage from the side of JDG is starting to hold true. In goes the depth charge. Will they set up a public execution? They find the likes of Viper, but he backs away from the hero's entrance and is still alive. Vampire's down, and Knight just runs the other side of the fight. It's a double kill already for the Aurora, and one last ditch effort from JDG was not enough. It's a clean ace, a triple kill for the superstar mid laner of Bilibili, as they'll even up the series at 1-1.
I mean, every fight, it just felt like Gawa either couldn't get in, or when he did get in, he was walking into a meat grinder. And this is AD Kaisa. I think that it's a game where he tried to auto a lot, wasn't able to auto enough, and BLG able to keep Gawa out, find the win for themselves as they even up the series. I think the ability for Olaf with an Ashe Lulu in his back pocket and a gold card, I mean, this could be a Junja game. Because the Lulu empowering your jungler, especially in Olaf, I mean, Olaf really takes advantage of this. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice start here, as Junja doesn't look like he can fight Shun. So he
has that Conqueror
proc,
but again, Junja
Vampire's
on the
here,
Olaf,
Vampire's
gonna get
here.
stronger as the health is lower. Vampire's here,
Great
pops
flash.
the heal, pops the shield. Junja nearly goes down, but it will be Shun to pick up first blood for Bilibili Gaming. They're gonna get a second on the Vampire as well. Knight gets the final kill credit, and BLG are off and running in game 3.
The game. Kind of expect to see a 530 Drake in their hands, so executed by BLG to make sure this goes in their favor.
Looks like this Mel pick was pretty telegraphed in terms of Knight knew that this was going to happen at some point, and he had the pick prepared. That's the benefit of being able to play less games.
Denying the gold cards and maybe some of the mid-jungle ganks that you look for when you have a TF on your team to attack his own lane with the free gank setup he gets. That's denied, but also kind of a low-range comp. And that's a root.
That's going to be it on to Honkyu. No flash still on that Twisted Fate, and Shun finds a great opportunity to get kill number 3.
So, if anything, expecting to see him look for wraps.
Ultimate used here by Bin perfectly alongside the ulti forward from Shun. That was just very greedy from Xiaoshu, and now JDG are going to try to respond here in the mid lane. Knight does have his flash burn, but it comes at the cost of the Ragnarok and most likely the Grubs.
That last full clear, and that kind of makes sense if you have Junja on Gromp, that Shun could be elsewhere. So I feel like that was well played by Bin and Shun to get the kill top, but also Xiaoshu kind of played into it on a timer where it wasn't necessary, or he should be thinking about playing around that play coming in. Because Honkyu can't help out.
Now going to start this dragon up. Ron has eyes on it. Destiny has been popped just to make sure that JDG know exactly where the opposition is. But Shun now going to jump over the wall, potentially creating another 50-50. Encore going to be matched, but Gala cleanses it. Going to be the dragon secured by a JDG. In goes the rest of the fight, and Junja starting to pop off with the wild growth. Gets one before eventually dropping. Bullet time coming out from Viper at 1 HP. Will be enough to take Gala down, and Knight shuts down Honkyu on the backside as well.
And that when he Ragnaroks, he's going to be strong in that window. Speaking of which, Knight going to be the focus here.
Window could be opened here, but Knight just clears the entire of the way. They're going to go for it anyway because I guess they have to. Reflect going to be used perfectly, and in goes the Golden Eclipse to make it a 1-for-1. Honkyu stood for a little bit too long underneath the turret. Nearly would have gone down with one more turret shot, but Knight's able to make it a 1-for-1 for now, but Shun jumps forward to make it an advantageous fight for BLG. From on, the Mikhail's perfectly timed to make sure he does not lose any mobility on his way underneath his own turret. JDG feel like they can't waste this opportunity, so they're starting up the Rift Herald, but BLG certainly want to fight this. Root lands on it too, able to do a ton to try and stall out JD Gaming. The teleport comes in from Bin, and the Rift Herald will now be started up by BLG.
Again, look to see who Vampire's empowering. I think giving Whimsy to Honkyu makes a lot of sense for me, just speeding up that gold card coming in.
Bin tickled at the most by the entirety of the damage of Honkyu. In goes Junja with the Ragnarok, doing a ton of damage, but will not drop just yet. Able to get away with the blast cone is on, and Shun takes him down. Xiaoshu with the Counter-Strike able to escape, but two more go the way of BLG.
I just feel like JDG are signing up for losing fights, and I'm a bit curious they're going for it now, because I kind of like the scaling of JDG in this game. Like, you have a Lulu. I can see empowering this Olaf, how Olaf can really function in the draft, and where damage could run out for BLG later on, but we're running into the meat grinder right now.
And they're looking to grow that now towards the bot lane tier 1. There's 3 members of JDG here to try to defend, but 4 is bigger than 3, and that's how many BLG send to take this one.
I mean, coming into the day, we really felt like, you know, BLG, they were the favorites coming in, but JDG had a hard road. Felt like that could have maybe been the buff as on.
Another great Mikhails, but this time it's not going to matter. Junja finally getting onto the board. Wild Growth on top of him as he's found Knight in melee range. That's going to be a shutdown. And Junja with a double kill, able to get JDG back in the winner's circle for now. Bin goes forward with that unstoppable onslaught, but unable to find a knockup. Junja no longer has the Ragnarok, but still has some damage, and Gala's been untouched with the Ranger's focus. Bullet time is flashed away from, as everybody from JDG will go in, take Bin down. He flashes away at 100 HP. The red buff not going to do it either, but a big win for JDG to get them back into the game.
And man, just as I was setting up BLG for taking over JDG, the one thing they got in that last fight, yes, we were questioning why they took it. It was a loss. We were crediting how well On played his way out of that one. But On used his tools around the Rift Herald. It was a beautiful Mikhails from him this time around, but that was the only tool he had to escape. Pick their big linchpins for each team's composition. As Herald dropped, BLG will take the mid-inner turret for themselves.
You're talking about great 80. The luxury that you get by stealing one of those dragons away earlier. Get the opportunity to maybe opt only for a fight you really want. But looks like BLG want to fight instead of going for the Drake, but in goes Junja once again. He's empowered. He shuts down Viper, but he will go down in a trade. Teleport has come in, and Xiao Shu now arriving to the fight. Shun is exhausted, but it will be Knight going golden, and Xiao Shu jumps on top of him, taking the Mel down. Double counter strike, and Xiao Shu carries JDG to a team fight win in the bottom lane. Only Bin remains, but he won't for much longer. A double kill in for Gala, and it's a clean ace for JD.
Junja's Olaf is breaking this game, and BLG do not have an answer to it. I think Knight might have misclicked the Seekers too on that one, which helped him fall. But again, this Jax luxury item starting to come in. Zanya's, that takes away even more ways for BLG to try and play and wombo their way into JDG.
So now the Dragon going to be the focus, but that might not even happen until Shun goes down. He forced the use of the Unbreakable, and now here goes Junja again with the Ragnarok. Hankyu going very far forward, but it's going to be able to take down Knight. Xiao Shu not able to land a stun with the counter-strike.
Yeah, only saving grace for me is that there's no Ragnarok available. So if you can find Olaf, it's a maybe, but that's it for BLG, and it's going to be hard. They're down numbers.
Shun's had a lot of objectives stolen from him. He's going to have to do it again, but no, that just gets bursted down too quickly. Chemtech Soul for JD Gaming. We didn't even think it had enough time for that to be bursted all the way through. Hankyu hunting with the gold card. Finds On, but nothing more. As Shun is looking to dash forward, and Knight has respawned and teleported back to the mid lane. In goes Xiao Shu. Counter-strike onto Viper. Not enough to take him down just yet, though, but Gala's looking unlocked. Junja already picking up one. A second onto Shun. And JD Gaming reigning supreme once again. ECA onto Knight. He flashes away, not going to go down, but it should be enough for JD to go to the Baron Nashor.
I think Bin just took the train out of the country. He tried to TP back in, but all of his friends were gone while he was missing. And JDG, this has been kind of a wild, chaotic game, Grapes, but it feels like off of one dragon fight that they forced and lost, turned on by JDG, they're looking to close out this game. I think they're going to do so pretty damn easily with a Chemsoul Olaf, Grapes. And this is going to be a 2-1 JDG lead. Late tech, maybe. Yeah, maybe Riftmaker into Dusk of Dawn to wrap things up here. Maybe just the damage amp into the Scion, pretty good health stacker.
Oh, knock up on the Gala. Junja's about half HP. This could be an opportunity for BLG to go in, but the Ragnarok's already been popped, and Junja will remain invulnerable for now. Charm going to land on a 2. Xiao Shu has been targeted. Gala flashing away for the bullet time. The Jax is very low. Taken down by the Golden Eclipse, and Knight has found his moment. Dash forward from Shun, takes Gala down, and now BLG are the ones on the comeback train. Junja is able to escape for now, but BLG now have a numbers advantage for the next 45 seconds.
BLG were able to stall out, like they forced out Ragnarok, then they stalled out the Ragnarok, they waited for it to expire, and it was a really good turn. Look at some of the itemization. Okay, sorry, there's a Direct set.
It is protecting us from seeing the items.
Yes. Thank you for making the joke they want to make, Grapes. Honku goes in.
Go on. Yeah, cleanses away from the arrow again, but not going to be able to match the might of Junja. Already 1 kill for nothing. The Ragnarok still unlocked. And it takes down at least 1 player here. Bin, he goes forward with the ultimate. That was a ill-mattered attempt by Bin on the Scion. He will go down 2 kills for free into the hands of JD Gaming. They're going to look for more. Xiaoshu jumps forward. Another multi-man counter-strike, and Knight is going golden, but waiting for his eventual demise. Viper on the run, but he's not going to be able to run much farther from Xiaoshu, who has carried this game on the jacks. JDG from the brink will come all the way back and will take a 2-1 series lead over Bilibili.
Grapes, of all the setup that we had coming into this series, we'd spent so much time talking about JDG. They don't have a single button where they can press like a stun on New Kha'Zix LeBlanc and then connect with all their CC from there. I'm a bit worried for JDG. He's continuing too. He's gonna E over. Smite fight? Yep.
He's gonna get it. Yeah. No smite on Shun. Means that he's able to pick this one up. A couple of extra minions this time, remembering that the small probes are important. Shun though, flashing over the wall. Now gonna have Junja in a bit of trouble. Junja flashes the opposite way, and now it's Knight with priority, and Knight hunting for his first kill. Junja probably gonna have to take this out the hard way. Looking for a potential execute. Gonna have to get under this tier 3, trying to buy as many seconds as possible, and it should be, no, it's first blood. Picked up here for Shun, and Knight gets some XP as well.
Might continue. Honkyu's actually making his way up to the Krugs. He burns the
Spirit
ult.
Rush forward. Oh, he's trying to find him in the bush. Dashes in. Oh, cancels the recall, lands a charm. Will it be enough damage? Not just yet. But Shun's at 100 HP, going to try to cancel the back, or channel the back, I should say, before Xiaoshu arrives. Needlework not going to connect. Almost the third one. Not enough to take Shun down. As he's in a very bad spot. Should most likely go down. Honkyu taking tower aggro, though, and Bin's hit Mega, and Shun will not go. He's still alive, finally. Xiaoshu goes forward with the snip, but he makes it a 1-for-1, and it should be more after that, with Knight finally being able to arrive to the play. It's 3-1 now on the scoreboard for Bilibili Gaming, and they can make it a little bit more. Bin jumping over the wall, taking Xiaoshu down. On the bottom lane, though, it's JDG having the upper hand in the bot lane. Death Sentence lands onto Viper, and with red and white guns, Gall is nearly able to get a second. Series has gone. Although we do like the way the composition functions a little bit more than we did in Game 3.
Yeah, I don't think that we're in a position where we get disastrously outscaled here as BLG. As Honku is going to spot Shun.
Oh, Shun. He's going to flash in. Did not realize that was enough damage, but hey, that's why Shun's the pro. Play to his name.
At Just Gnar Things does the combo where he is able to throw his ult and take away most of your health and walk out without a tower shot, which is very fun. BLG gets 3 grubs to their name off the back half of this too. Is Shun again going to continue to keep power farming, I should say, on this Kha'Zix, where Fire Lantern could be a big game changer.
That sentence goes wide. Shun looking for that potential dive, but JDG have done a good job responding to any of the pressure that their opposition has brought towards them. As I say that, though, Bin goes forward, lands the Mega Gnar to send Xiaoshu back, and On is immediately there with the Solar Flare. And Shun from downtown will snipe him down with the Vorpal Spikes to make it 6-2 BLG.
Something object permanence in tow for Gala, but he's got a reset for it, and that should be enough time for Shun to rip through this dragon with his Evolve Claws.
So count even at 1. BLG looking good here in Game 4.
Oh, I'm blanking. I'm panicking in front of the LPL here. Gotta focus on the games
anyway. We got the
anyway.
sentiment at the very least. As looks like Bin now is going to get targeted by a gank from Junja, but does a lot of damage back onto Xiaoshu and has decent movement speed from the Hyperprocs. Flashes away from that final Q, and in comes Shun to turn the tides. That's 1 on to Xiaoshu, a second onto Junja, sure to follow. Knight's the one to secure it, and BLG are running the table in Game 4.
On the Q entering the fight with some of the clicks that he had, but that I would constitute that as a rather poor effort from JDG, which is too bad because they've had a lot of good efforts throughout this series. That one just that wasn't one of them, and this game seems to be spiraling a little bit.
They were very eager to try to force something on the Bin. You know, the typical signs, hey, he's mini Gnar, let's go for something. But he's still pretty strong as mini Gnar, and this is Bin's Gnar that we're talking about as well. Not to mention Shun coming in, getting a kill, number 4 on the game. Nice hook, though, is going to connect onto Knight. Vampire gets a big shutdown over to Honkyu. And that's much needed gold into JD's pockets.
If a death sentence is connecting out of the block throughout the game, I'm gonna usually take inventory and say that the block made a bit of an oopsie. Bit of an oopsie there from Knight, as
Fair enough.
Vampire again continues to prove why I think his Thresh should be feared in the league. Thresh is a champ where you can really demonstrate player skill. Vampire doing a good job of that. I'm talking through that one. Whew. He was dead.
As Gala tasted Shun's fear right there, or maybe tasted his own fear as Shun smited him down.
You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
More like
I see him at first stand.
I mean, I was kind of worried when I saw the Kazakhs locked in that we might see a Gwen jungle. I had a little bit of PTSD from that game, but that's all right.
Anyway.
We'll be seeing Shelly at first stand. Shun's going to focus on that. Yeah, a lot of Shelly.
Maybe too much, depending on your attitude towards the Rift Herald. Will get picked up here by Shun.
Test this dragon, and this is not a dragon that I'd sign up to die on a hill for. So maybe looking at Bin was the wise choice. That said, Bin gonna play his way out of it. A-okay. So Bin bases, navigates the gank. A little bit more gold's going over the Gwen, but it is the Evolved Claws ripping through that dragon for BLG and Shun as they pick up their second dragon of the game.
Far behind in terms of gold, and so that's why maybe we're even feeling worse. Junja gonna get slowed down here by the Solar Flare, locked down by a lot of abilities thrown at him by On. Now he'll be forced to proc his ult and his flash to get away.
Vampire. Ooh, guess wrong.
Yeah, Knight's gonna go forward as well with the Mimic, take him down again.
Yep.
Knights LeBlanc reigning supreme here in this game 4 as BLG really put in their pedal to the metal.
I mean, Junja doesn't have access to his camps anymore, as that's a bold play.
Blast Cone, no ulti this time, and that means that Junja's gonna go down. So a great fight, I guess. Honkyu's looking for some sort of trade, but not gonna happen. BLG, I think we can definitively say this, very ahead in this one.
I'd say a 9k gold lead is better than a 7k gold lead, and we're not stopping there. As Geraldo Rift Hera gonna save her charge for the inhibitor turret.
Challenger has approached. So far, that Challenger has gotten the best of him, but not in the most important of games, that being here in the postseason. So Knight looking to take BLG all the way to 5 here, has been alongside a downtown snipe from Viper, is able to get a kill on a Vampire, and now On is looking for more on to Junja. Satchel sends Junja back, and that will be 2-0 once again.
You know, I feel like JDG deserves a wee bit of grief for this draft, Grapes. I was not a fan of the H-Rocks coming in later on. Hasn't looked great. I think it's been a bit of Junja fell behind early. A couple oopsies. That didn't help, but also was really looking for hard CC. Been a lack of that.
Battle here between our two mid laners.
The MVP of the series throughout the first 3 games. I don't want to say I expected the matchup to go like this, to be this Shun favored, but I was expecting the jungle matchup to be a little bit BLG favored in this series. So yeah, it's been a bit of a roughie this game for Junja.
Yeah, guess what? No, you can't outsmite your opponent if you're never set up to even get into position to steal away. So
and I don't want to see that. I would like a game 5 tonight, Grapes. This series has been fun.
Oh, Knight
by Gala
goes in, and Gala is just deleted. There's a double kill again for Shun, who's having his way with his old team, going for Vampire next. A triple kill for the Bug. Baron might not even be needed, as it's a 5v2 now for BLG. They're going to run right down the mid lane. They're going to break open this inhibitor, and they could even look for more.
Yeah, let's get us out of here. Let's get into this game 5, Grapes. It's been a fun series so far tonight. BLG not going to throw this lead. Really good game from Shun, punishing Junjia, playing too fast, too early, as BLG take a very dominant game 4 victory.
There is no wave right now. They're going to have to wait for this next one to be escorted in. 10 seconds on Junja, but it should not matter. BLG, with the most dominant win that we've seen all day against JD Gaming, are going to send us to game number 5. Because between these two teams, there was no other way for it to go down. Respawns have come through, but the Nexus is gone. BLG win, and we are headed to that decider.
Anivia supports Wild. I would like this more than Knight piloting the Anivia himself. If we're going to pull out this flex, this is crazy. But at least I think the R from Callista, you can chain Anivia's Q. And this is a kill lane into Renata.
Comet Spear out from Shun, going cross-map to try to deny as much of the invade as possible onto Junja. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane is Viper, picking up first blood with On, and Hongkyu gets another solo kill onto Knight.
No. we're learning with everyone else.
We're all learning.
Mike and Eggs.
Oh, this is not going to work well, as the egg will be procced here. We'll see if JDG can finish it off, but Knight's able to do a lot of damage back on a Vampire. It'll just be the one kill in favor of BLG, and the bird will live.
Roa support Anivia game 5, baby. This is the winning form. This is what we're banking our international trip on. Roa support Anivia, baby. They first picked Renata. We deny Callista, and then we take Anivia later in draft, guys. We flex the Anivia, all right?
So far, scoreboard's looking good. That's all I'll say. BLG up 2,000. They're going to get all 3 of these grubs. Viper, again, with that significant CS lead. Now isolated here with Gall in the bottom lane, but in the mid lane, now On's going to be in trouble again. This time, no egg by his side. Set up for scaling, but, I mean, even that first one is able to delay a lot of what any soul win condition could look like for Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a fight that JDG wants to sign up for. Vampire going to get caught, though.
Oh, he's trying to hold his flash. Will he be able to? No. Ends up taking a lot of his HP anyway. And that'll certainly mean this dragon goes over. Shin's going to be able to take it down.
Well set up by On. Toward 2 points of W. You know, you can make sure you close out that gap. Vampire does lose his flash. And yeah, again, I just don't think JDG ever wanted that fight. Hongkyu just completed his Roa.
Shun starting this up and taking it down with the help of his bottom lane.
Junja doing his best to get some control over this. Ward snuck in by Vampire. On's going to pop the sweeper. Meanwhile, Trade's top. Maiden's been dropped. Death Realm used.
Just going to delay. And meanwhile, it's going to be Knight teleporting in to be able to join his top laner upon his emergence from the Death Realm. Shout shoot, didn't even see it coming. And will go down in a 3v1.
That was a lot used. I think any question of BLG, you know, not being able to have enough to tank to finish the Herald, again, it kind of answered by chance strengths, and Viper making his way on up here. So, is the team captain, which actually has some ramifications in the LPL, as I think there are more interview media requirements for those guys. Another dragon going over to JDG is concerning for me, though.
Yeah, they're going to drop it. I mean,
yeah.
Shun is nowhere nearby.
What gold can BLG get off this? Doesn't look like they want to use the Herald quite yet. Also,
and again, so far, it's been Hongkyu with that success. Even if you take into account both games that JDG have lost and both games JDG have won today, still the highest win rate mid laner.
From mid lane. Going to impact the map and be damn good at it. Victor's not that champion. You're playing for lane, you're playing to scale. So far, he's done a nice job of getting resources for himself, even if he's going to have to give away some here. As Herald was dropped topside for BLG as they secure the top outer turret for themselves.
Right now, the carries for JDG not as strong as Viper and Knight. They see that second item, Rage Blade, picked up for Viper as well. Very much in a good position.
TP.
Meanwhile, we have a 2v1 opened up here. In the bottom side is Bin, has the Death Realm issued onto him, and the rest of JDG's rolling up to make it an unfair fight once he re-emerges. Getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine is Bin, as it'll be a shutdown picked up for the Vi.
Don't agree with Bin burning the flash there. He was against 4. Is trying to buy as much time as he can for Knight, who with 3 grubs has been able to get 4 plates for himself and a lot of work on that top inner turret. And frankly, with Bin going down then, maybe there's a look at this dragon. Bin does have TP available. No flash, no maiden, though. As Bin's pushing bot, mid's a handshake. BLG have yet to start this objective as Junja getting very aggressive here as they play for this bot side embankment rush.
A risky play, but it looks like JDG do not want to sit and wait for the next dragon. They want this one right now. A big Glacial Storm is here for On, but he gets crowd controlled and Fate Sealed back in. Gonna be a big hostile takeover. It lands onto Bin, but already Junja has gone down. Viper's picked up his first kill. Knight's in the Death Realm. He dashed away with the Abscon, but the Dragon's already gone. The way of Bilibili. They are able to even up the count and now looking for advantage in numbers. Onto Xiaoshu they go with the Grand Starfall, and the Mord is now down. 2 kills in the hands of BLG, and they might have just found their opening.
Again, for JDG, I'm kind of down with them fishing around, using Victor lasers to poke. Maybe you can get something, but committing to the full fighter into the river is a little
Handshake?
risky. On's going to fall.
It's on to On. The Anivia egg is still popping. It's not down just yet. Finally, the Boomerang Blade will take it, but Hongq will die in response. Viper gets on the board once again, and now Knight's hungry for more. Takes Vampire down, and it's 4 kills in the extended fight for BLG.
A lot of gold picked up for BLG as they're pushing that lead towards the 5K mark on top of evening up the Dragons, which we expected. But again, you can kind of see the strength, the composition still showing those items as they're rolling in for JDG. Things are getting better, but they're not stronger yet. And the fight for BLG was good. Bin's Yorick got through the entire fight, was able to operate, and was really the big difference maker on the back half as being that immovable frontliner. Sweet spot right now is seeing 3 items being ahead of the curve.
JDG still looking for a play here. They're going to find Shun out in a 2v1. Hongq going to join as well. This Pantheon is in some severe danger. Bin's on the way, but it's going to be the Arcane Storm to take him down. A big shutdown into the hands of Hongq, but Baron is suddenly getting pinged at. Wouldn't make sense for BLG to take it with their jungler down.
Oh, I thought he flashed. There was kind of a visual bug there at the end. That was a funky one. That's a nice gap, though, for JDG. Like, a lot of times when you're on the back foot in these games, you do have to find those small windows where you can still be aggressive to get stuff. It's not about just sacking.
Learned their lesson by now. It would be very risky for them to enter at this point, but it looks like instead they will go for the fight. Junja has his smite available. He's stolen a number of objectives already in this series. Can he find it again? No. It's immediately bursted down by BLG without much to say about it. Wall cuts off Vampire for a little bit, but JDG are still hunting. They're still looking for a fight. Knight goes for the chain, not going to find it onto Gala, but he's still being singled out. Death Realm onto Shun. On tank very low with that Arcane Storm starting to do a lot, of damage. The egg is out, but now Hongq is trapped into the bins. Burst. There goes Viper. Gets the kill onto Gala, and that might be the fight that breaks the camel's back. Knight is going to be able to run Xiaoshu down, and JDG had their fun, but now it's time to bow down to the Knight that rules this realm.
30 seconds on Gala. I think 4 is enough for BLG as the support of Nivea is going to find the Game 5 win, the flex pick. And again, JDG, they kind of lacked engage with this composition. I think they played this one too fast. I think they didn't wait for their windows to come to them and BLG punish.
It's 5 seconds on Vampire, 10 seconds on Gala. That should just be it. Bilibili Gaming, they retooled their roster. Wow. They repaired their mistakes, and now they want revenge internationally. 3-2 over JDG, and they're headed to first stand.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.